Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be listening to interview experience for Qualcomm's hardware engineer position. We have Tejas with us who is pursuing his masters in embedded systems from BITS-Pilani. So let's hear it from him.
Hi everyone, I'm Tejas. I'm from BITS-Pilani. So today I'll be telling you the overview of the Qualcomm process which happened last month. So basically it was first round was online test which consists of three sections. The first was aptitude, second was digital electronics, and third was C programming. So then the shortlisted students were had two technical interviews and an HR interview. So Qualcomm basically came for two profiles, software and hardware, and also for communication profiles. So as mentioned before, the first round was the online test. It consisted of three sections. Regarding the timing, each section was of 30 minutes each, and 20 questions were there in each section. It was +1 for the correct answer and -0.25 for negative marking. So in the first section was aptitude. Aptitude, there are only basic questions like time and work, pipeline systems. Apart from that, the main questions were on data interpretation, where there was 5 connecting questions. So in that you can't spend much time, because if you go on spending much time in that, it will be really difficult for other questions to get solved. So just practice on this data interpretation and connecting type of questions, and that should do. Coming to digital section, it was mainly basics of gate itself, digital electronics. It mainly consisted of FSMs, flip-flops, counters, etc. And the third section was C programming. C programming, it was basics of C. Like they will give a program, you should find the output of that, or you need to find the error in a given program. Apart from that, there were questions on pointer structures, linked list, array, sorting algorithms, etc. It was not that difficult. Okay, so coming to the preparation of the written test, as I said before, there were three sections. Coming to the first section, it was aptitude. So for aptitude, as I said, you can search for any websites. You will get the questions of Python systems, time and work, etc. If you just get the hold of the basic formulas for that, I think you'll be able to do the problems with that. I would suggest, please prepare for data interpretation type of questions. If you can practice some 4 or 5 questions before the interview, like before the written test, it will be really helpful, because it will take time, and if you have some grip on that, it will give an edge on others. If you want any books, I think R.S. Agarwal should do. It's a very good book for aptitude. And coming to the digital part, I basically went through the gate notes of ACE. I prepared from there itself. So because I had already read that book before, it was very easy for me to again go through the book. If you have not, hopefully you will all of you will have some basics of digital. So I would suggest you to go to the same books which you have already read before. It will be easy for you to go fast. If you need some good books for digital, I think Maris Mano is there for digital electronics. It's a really good book. And there is Computer Architecture and Digital Electronics by Harris and Harris. It's also a very good book. You can go through this. Coming to the C programming, I don't think you need to, like, if you have a certain basic concepts of C, you can just directly jump to practicing the questions in HackerRank and HackerRank, or even Geeks or Geeks. Geeks or Geeks already gives you some MCQs, which are some tricky questions are there. So if you can practice those things, I think that should do to crack the written test. Okay, after the online test, I was shortlisted for the hardware profile in Qualcomm. So the first interviews was with the manager. So some of the basic questions he was asked, he started with the RISC processor, because I had done some RISC processor projects in my resume. So he picked that up from there, and he asked me what's the basic differences between the RISC and CISC architectures, and why do we use pipeline in RISC, and he went on some basics on that. He just wanted to know if I understood the concepts of pipelining and RISC and CISC. After that, he went to the application type of questions. So I would strongly suggest you guys to please be thorough with the basics. I'm not saying, because the basics everyone will obviously do, because basic definitions of RISC and CISC is available in everywhere. So obviously everyone will be prepared for that. But the main thing comes where you can go over others, is that when they ask these concepts to be applied in some of the systems. Because for example, in my interview, he gave a system for me. and he asked me like how we can implement this in the pipeline, and what happens if the number of pipeline stages are increased, and what happens what happens with the latency if the number of stages are increased, why we can't go after a certain stages in pipeline. So these kind of questions were asked. If you have a thorough knowledge of basics, only then you can apply these like those concepts in this. So just don't go with the books and just don't go with the definitions in there. If you please understand the concept, and that will do, I think. The rest of the interview, it was basically on Verilog itself. He asked some code snippets to write, basic FSM things. He gave me some circuits. He gave me some counter circuit and asked me how we can change the output. What are the what using some logic gates, how we can change the output for a given output, like to obtain a waveform, such kind of things. So basically, if he starts with the basics of the concept he wants to know, once he knows that you are thorough with the concepts, basic concepts, then he will give some applications in where you can implement those concepts. The main thing is they will see the approach itself. So if you don't get the full answer correct, at least if you have the approach right, they will help you in between so that you can reach the final answer. So please see that you get the concepts correctly, and if your approach is right, obviously we get to the interviews. Okay, after the first round of interviews, there was obviously shortlisting. So I was shortlisted for the second round. Second round was in the afternoon. So in the second round, it was also basically like based on Verilog itself, because I was for the hardware profile, shortlisted for the hardware profile. So it was basically on like digital electronics and Verilog itself. So he also started with risk and sys processors, and he asked me about the project, how, like, what were the difficulties you faced in the project and kind of stuff. It was easy for starting. Then he gave me a problem statement to write the code. He gave me a 16 cross 8 multiplier, if I'm right, to write a Verilog code. So he asked me to write a Verilog code, and he almost gave me 25 to 30 minutes to write the code. It was in the HackerRank platform, so he could live. You could see me coding lively. So whenever, like, he didn't speak anything of it, he was just sitting quiet for almost 25 minutes. So I started with all the subnet modules and all the, first obviously I draw a block diagram, and then for each module I started writing a Verilog code. And after I think 25 minutes, I said it was done. Even I'm not sure if it was like fully correct, because it was on a HackerRank platform. I didn't know if all the syntax and all the like claims were correct, but he just checked for some 2 minutes and he said it was okay. So it went great. Apart from that, he asked me some number system questions in digital electronics. He gave me 2 numbers and like to add values and then convert it to another number system and stuff. Apart from that, I think he just asked me some counters. He gave me some FSMs and asked me to interpret that what it was actually doing. He gave me a system and asked me to find the number of states the system is going through and stuff. And later he asked me some few questions in memory and stuff, but I actually didn't have read that in my curriculum, so I directly sent him that I didn't know about those things. He was fine with that because I haven't read about those things. That was it. I think it was a short interview of like 40 minutes or 45 minutes. Obviously 30 minutes were only for the coding of Verilog part. So rest he asked me some few questions on Verilog, and that was it. So after my second round of interviews, I actually waited almost for 4 to 5 hours for my HR. Even I was not sure that even like if I will get a call or not. But at late night after 8 or 8:30, I got a call from HR that I have scheduled for my HR interview. It was very short interview. It was only for 10 minutes, I think. It was just a formal kind of meeting with HR. He told the procedures in a company, which are the locations and which are the profiles. He asked me about the profiles which I want to like. It was not a decision for me, but he just asked me for suggestions in which profile I want to work with. He asked me like the introduction, and he asked me the preference of my location. And he asked me what is the fascinating thing you know about Qualcomm and stuff. I told about the chipset or 5G chipsets which were coming now. So that was it, I guess. It was a very small interview. Okay, some suggestions and tips for you guys. If you are really preparing for the hardware or VLSI profile and if you want to work on a semiconductor company. So if you are in a if you are now studying in BTech second or third year, I think it's a great time now because in the second year itself the technical subjects of all the branches start. If you're in telecommunication or if you're in electronics and communication background, I think now's the right time for you to start preparing for GATE. Really suggest you if you're really planning for any semiconductor companies, big company semiconductor companies like Samsung or Qualcomm, Texas Instruments. So it would really great if you can go to the ME. So obviously for doing an MTech or ME in India, you need to go for GATE. So I would suggest if you're in second and third year, please start studying for basics. In GATE also the basic topics are networks, digital, and analog. I know in BTech it would seem very difficult these subjects because it's the first time you're hearing of that. But if you actually go for GATE preparation of you can subscribe for any GATE lectures, there I think you would really get a hold of these concepts. It's not that difficult also as they say. So if you can start from second or third year, it will be really helpful. If you have done GATE, I think it almost covers 50% of the syllabus for these companies. The rest 50% you can obviously learn after the MTech starts. So in B, I will suggest you to start the GATE preparation, and also alongside with that, if you can participate in some workshops and some coding competitions like hackathon or something, like only basic seeds. I'm not talking about Java, Python, and such things. That would give a confidence on programming, because programming, how much ever you study, it's really difficult to get a hold of it. Only if you can practice or do some practical projects, you'll get exactly like how debugging can be done and those kind of stuff. So that's the main important thing. If you can attend some workshops or hackathon competitions or coding, or if you can go for some robotics competition, that will really help you to gain the confidence also, and it will also look very good in your resume. So that's the main thing about technical. Coming to the overall preparation of placement for Qualcomm, to be frank, we didn't actually get a very long time. We had 1 month of break in between. We knew that the company would start in a month, so I normally started with the GATE itself. GATE digital electronics was a main subject because whatever they go, even if you're aiming for VLSI domain, the basics should be start from the digital itself, like flip-flops, sequential and combinational circuits. It will start with the basic gates and it will go on with the systems with the basic gates, and then it will go to sequential, flip-flops, counters, FSM, and such things. If you have a really good hold of this, then it will be really helpful. You can go on designing the risk and systems. There is a subject called VLSI design in MTech where you will run this static timing analysis and stuff. So once you are very good, once you have the hold of digital electronics of today, then it will be really helpful for you to come up cope up with this VLSI design and VLSI architecture subjects in MTech. So my basic strategy was to go with the digital electronics from GATE itself. Then in the last 2 weeks or such, I just prepared for these MTech subjects, which was VLSI architecture and VLSI design. I got a very good input from my seniors who were already placed in Qualcomm. So I just prepared for those subjects. But I would really suggest you, because in my experience also, some of my batchmates, they had some different questions from analog. They got questions from multivibrators. They got questions from, apart from Verilog also. They got some puzzles. So it's not like your interview will be only based on Verilog, it's only based for digital electronics. So whatever you put on your resume, please be like some of the basic understanding of that is very necessary, because they will obviously check if you're honest with your resume, if you've really done your projects. And in some interviews, some cases, they might also ask you about the projects you've done, and they might really dig you through it. I think they will ask you what are the components used, what were the exact number of what was the model number of the component, and such things also. So please be thorough with the project. Even if you're not put very big number of projects, that's fine. Even if you have 2-3 projects, very good projects, I think that should do.